What is wholesaling real estate? Guys, my name is Rick Ginn. I've been wholesaling for 23 years. In this video, I'm gonna break down why wholesaling is so advantageous for people who wanna get ahead in life. And I'm gonna show you exactly how it works. And I'm gonna take the complete fear out of wholesaling because I've been doing it 23 years. And if you wanna get started, this is the video for you. So do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button so other people can find the truth out about wholesaling. So what is wholesaling real estate and why is it so wildly popular? I was super lucky to find this 23 years ago after working a corporate job for 12 years, and it completely changed my life. And I feel obligated to share what wholesaling is and how it can radically change your life. So if you're tired of having a boss, if you're tired of not having money, if you're tired of not having freedom of your time, and wholesaling is extremely interesting to you, watch this video. So we have to understand the concept of wholesaling. So everybody understands what a pawn shop is. So say you have a pawn shop, okay? And let's just draw this. Here's your pawn shop. You walk in the door. We'll call it XYZ Pawn. Now, what is a pawn shop in the business of doing? They don't pay retail for anything. Period. Here's what a pawn shop does, is they find people, they find things that people own who basically need to sell. Now, this is a key word you have to understand in wholesaling. If I walk into a pawn shop, let's just say I walk in and I have this beautiful, beautiful watch. I know my graphic's terrible. And say it's a Rolex. So say it's a basic Rolex watch. The retail on these is what? Probably 12 to 15K. Now, if I walk into a pawn shop knowing I need to sell this, them not knowing the reason why, but they're probably gonna ask, why do you need to sell it so quick? Number one, they wanna make sure it's not stolen. And number two, they wanna make sure you're the legitimate owner of this watch. And they go, hey, Rick, I know that watch is worth maybe 12, 15 if you go through a broker and everything like this. I'm gonna offer you $6,000 cash. And of course I'm gonna go, that's crazy, I need closer to 12 to 15. They go, listen, I have to market the watch. I have to talk to my specialty buyers. There's a cost to this, it takes a lot of time. I tell you what, I'll offer you $7,000. It's cash here now and it's ready to go. Now Rick has to make a decision. Do I really need to sell this? Do I need the cash to solve a problem? Maybe I need to pay my rent. Maybe I need to pay my mortgage. Maybe I need to do a vacation for my family. The key is, if I just want to sell, I'm probably not going to take this price. But if I need to sell, I'm probably going to take this 7K. Why? Because they're going to solve a problem for me right now, and it's super convenient. And we get what we call speed in this. That, my friends, is basically the best concept how I can explain how wholesaling works. See, people walk in a pawn shop and they fully expect not to get retail. They do try to barter and negotiate, which is how we do wholesaling real estate, but nobody expects to pay full value. Now, I want you to understand this with real estate. You all know most wealthy people, most millionaires, billionaires, you call it whatever you want, most of them got very rich through real estate. Why? Because real estate is one of the most unique asset classes. First of all, the reason why wholesaling works so well is, number one, you're dealing with the biggest asset. Is there anything bigger than selling a piece of real estate? Maybe a business, that's about it. It's tangible, people can touch it, people can live in it, it produces cash, it can't disappear overnight, it could with a storm, but people like real estate because it's the biggest asset class. So think about this, if you're going to flip something and you want to make the most profit, do you want to sell Beanie Babies at a garage sale? Or do you want to sell up to $1 million items on a chunk of real estate? Which one are you going to make more money on? The reality is you're going to have to do hundreds of thousands of Beanie Babies, or you can do one house and you can make a quick 10, 15, 20 grand. That's why it's so attractive in wholesaling real estate. Number two, the track record is phenomenal. This has been going on over 200 plus years. This isn't like an eBay fad that pops up or an Amazon FBO store where everybody gets scammed out of it. We're not trading currencies. We're not trying to teach you how to be an overnight stock trader. I mean, this is real, guys. This documented case is way over 200 years from our founding fathers that were flipping properties in communities when they first migrated to the United States. so you know it works. And here's the best part is, people will tell you, oh, it's more difficult stuff. No, it's not. People told me that in 2003. Here we are in 2025. You have never had a better opportunity than the wholesale real estate. And let's face it, guys, wholesaling real estate has had the most success out of any other venture in all of businesses. Why? If you apply yourself and actually do the wholesaling and you commit to it, it's hard not to make money. But if you do it, you kind of try it and you just kind of play around with it and you treat it like your job that's getting you nowhere, it won't work. Guys, I've seen more success in wholesaling than any other venture I've ever seen in business. And I've been in this for 23 years. I worked for a corporation for 12 years, guys. You never have a better opportunity in wholesaling real estate. So your next question should be like, why me? Why you, the wholesaler? Why should I even consider this venture? What's in it for me? So let's do the why, which is you. Why wholesaling? Let me show you. Number one, it has the lowest risk. And when I say risk, I mean capital. How many people watching this video right now are short on capital? I know I was when I started wholesaling, and everybody told me for me to go out and get a legitimate business, I have to go out, I have to raise money, I have to put my own hard-earned money into it, and maybe one day I'll be successful. You gotta be kidding me. That could take me 10, 20 years to do. Wholesaling solved this problem because, counter to popular belief, you don't need no money. Now, I know you guys are thinking, oh my God, I've heard this before. I'm telling you, I've been doing this 23 years. This is a fact. You do not need money. You are going to need brains. You're going to have to be resourceful, and you're going to have an incredible work ethic. But if you're broke and you have ambition and you truly want everything in life, please don't let capital be the one thing that stops you, because it is a limiting belief. So most people come in because they have the lowest risk, meaning the lowest amount of capital, and they have no money. That's a lot of you watching this video. That's fine. That's how I started out. That's how Zach started out. Number two, wholesaling has the highest reward. And what do I mean by that? It means it has the highest return. So listen, if you fell asleep in math class like I do, or you got ADHD, this is perfect for you. If I invest $0, right, and say I can make $20,000 on one deal, you tell me any stockbroker, any financial manager, any business person that can calculate the return on this, it's infinite. And I have never seen any other type of business where you can turn zero into $20,000. I minimize my risk, I maximize my reward. Guys, listen, you were never meant to sit behind a desk job. You were never meant to make a salary. The idea is the more people you help out, the more money you should make. And you've been raised your entire life in this limiting belief that you have to get a job, you have to get a career. Listen, 70% of Americans hate their job and their boss they work for. I had to wait 12 years to make this decision. This is the main reason why I got into wholesaling when I understood this. So 0 to 20,000. I didn't say it's going to be easy. You're going to have to do work for it. But I'm telling you right now, in 2025, this is 100% possible. Now let's go on the flip side. Let's do the other side of the equation. Why would a seller consider a wholesale deal? And that's the question you should be asking. And I got a great answer for you. Remember, we are focusing on people that need to sell, okay? Here's a crash course. If you want to sell a piece of real estate, you hire a realtor and you put it on MLS and you let them play the games. They overprice it 10 to 15%. So when people make a bottom line offer, it is the actual retail price. This game goes on endlessly. It happens in cars, happens in boats, and it definitely happens in real estate. But what if I need to sell the house? Rick, please explain why someone would need to sell the house. Remember, real estate is just a byproduct of human beings' problems. Number one, what if I lost my job? Did you know that over 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? Let me repeat that. 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So what happens when the breadwinner or both of them lose their job? How do you pay your mortgage? You don't. You maybe get 1 or 2 paychecks, but you got to figure this out. And remember, people have kids. They have parents they have to take care of. This is what happens if you don't pay your mortgage? you go in what we call a pre-foreclosure. And this simply means that you get behind on payments with the bank. And after you miss a certain amount of payments, the bank is going to sue you and take you to court. And if you don't rectify the loan, pay the money you owe, they basically auction your house out, kick you out. It's one of the most humiliating and embarrassing thing. And for that reason, people are going to sell to a wholesaler before they do it. But wait, Rick, why don't they just list it with a realtor? Realtors only specialize in people who want to sell a house. They don't know how to sell a house that needs to be sold. The word need has an implication of time, and it's what I call short time, usually 30 to 90 days. That's what we're targeting. We're doing need. So let's keep going. What if they're behind on their property tax? You know, in the United States, people tell you you own a house, but the reality, even if you paid cash for the house, you have to pay your tax every year. What happens if you don't pay your property taxes? They auction your house off. Now, there's different time frames in different states, but usually after 2 years, they have the right to put the house up to auction to recoup the taxes. Crazy, but this is true. This is why people need wholesalers. What if somebody gets sick and they can't go back to work? What if it's a permanent, like an accident, terrible? How do you pay? Listen, banks don't care about your situation, and they treat people like a number. This is the reason why wholesalers exist. We are here to solve. We don't create these problems. We just try to solve these problems. Let me ask you this. What about people who get rental properties? And you know what they say? This realtor told me it's passive income. It's super easy, and the tenants pay for everything. I just sit back and collect the checks. That's great. I'm going to buy a rental property. And guess what? I don't understand how to manage it. The tenants stop paying. What happens when the tenants stop paying the rent? You still have to pay the mortgage. And this creates a real problem for people. What happens when the tenants trash the property and cause $30,000 of damage and they stop paying rent? All of a sudden, this passive income, which is an active lie, rental properties are not passive income. They're actually really hard work. And then you go, you know what? I worked too hard in life. This is ridiculous. I bought this property for $300,000. Now it's trashed. It's got damage. I want to get rid of it. This Rick guy sent me a letter, or I saw his bandit sign. I'm going to see if I can do what? Solve the problem today. Now, let's think back to our pawn shop. When we talk about the pawn shop, what's a pawn shop do, right? Here's your pawn shop. You bring them an asset, which is now the house, right? You paid $300K for the house. Remember, it's just like the watch. You paid full retail for it. Now you got all these damages, $30,000 of damage. You got a vacant property, and you have to evict a tenant. And someone like me comes along. I go, listen, I understand. I'm so sorry that the realtor lied to you. I'm so sorry that you don't understand it's passive income, but I'd love to pay you 300 grand, but you left me some real problems. I tell you what, I'll offer you $200,000 and I'll pay you cash and I'll close within 30 days. Guys, we are no different than a pawn shop how we do this. Why are we doing this? We're solving a problem, right? We're offering conveniency, and most importantly, we're offering speed. We get a deal, we're gonna make some money on this, and then they get speed, they get convenience and privacy, and most importantly, we solve a problem. We are the pawn shop of real estate, guys. Here's the only difference. Here's the best part is, I don't have to get a license, I don't have to be bonded insured, I don't have to get a giant piece of real estate. In fact, the really attractive thing about wholesaling real estate, you don't need an office at all. Absolutely not. In the beginning, you just work solo. That's why the business is so attractive. So if we understand, I showed you why it's so advantageous for you, the wholesaler, to get started in this business, but people say, hey, what's in it for the seller? People have problems. Problems come up. Remember, real estate is just the symptom of the human problem. If you understand that, you understand how this works. Now, the next thing you're going to ask is, Rick, what do I need to get started as wholesaling? And this is the really cool part. It's simple. What tools do you need? Oh my God. So number one, you're not going to SBA and taking out a loan. That is the worst thing you can do. If you have to take a loan to start out a business and you have no idea if you're going to make money, please don't ever take a loan out. Wholesaling only works if you work, meaning you have to go out and produce the income. So what tools do you need? Number one, cell phone, check. Everybody has that. Next one, a computer. And to be honest with you, most of your guys' cell phones act as a computer, so I'm just gonna check that off. If you can handle these two things, you have everything you need to start wholesaling real estate. Did you understand that? I didn't say it was gonna be easy, but if you're willing to put the work in, if you're willing to make the sacrifice like I did, like Zach did, and tens of thousands of other people I've taught this business, you don't have to settle for average. In fact, you're gonna start laughing when you look around and you let the people control you. You have to break free of this. Now, the next thing you're gonna say is, but Rick, wait a minute. I don't have any experience in real estate. Congratulations, you're perfect for wholesaling. You're gonna say, no experience. And you know what I say? Perfect. Why? Because you don't have any bad habits in this business. Most people operate wholesaling real estate as a realtor, and it is the worst way you can operate. Most realtors are broke, very few do transactions, and they're in love with this idea of selling real estate. Guys, there's very little money in it unless you're the tippy top, and 70% of realtors don't even sell one piece of real estate in a given 12-month period. So you can't take the advice of most realtors. Now, the next thing I know what you're gonna say is, I don't have sales experience. Perfect. Why? We're not selling and wholesaling. A lot of people will tell you in this business, it's all about specialized sales training. Honestly, I've had an incredible sales training in my previous job. It did not help me in the slightest in wholesaling. You see, your skill set is going to be helping solve people's problems. So let me give you the order of how we do it. You see, the real skill set in a wholesaler, the highest skill set you're going to learn, and you have to understand this up front, is you have to learn to find and locate what we call motivated sellers. And guys, a motivated seller, the code for this, so you understand this, is simply someone that needs to sell their house. The key difference, if I go after people who need to sell a house, it means they have a time frame and they got to get it done. They need to solve a problem. People who want to sell a house is usually a wish list, and only the highest price will solve them. I'm not going to deal with those people. So finding and locating is what we call marketing. And this is the highest skill set you learn as a wholesaler. A lot of people think it's about your ability to talk to people and stuff. Trust me, your ability to talk to people is important, but your ability to locate these finite set of motivated sellers that need to sell is your highest skill set in wholesaling. You learn this, you don't need sales experience. You know what you need to do? We guide sellers, we explain what their options are, and we're gonna teach you how to do that. By the way, everything I'm teaching you is over at freewholesaling.com. It's 100% free. It is the only 100% free wholesaling course. It's been here for 5 years. I got 30 years experience between me and my son, and we show you how to do these deals. Now we're gonna guide the sellers. The next thing is, you actually have to listen to them. You have to listen to their problem, because the only way you can solve a problem is by listening to what their needs are. What are they trying to fix? And remember, the real estate is just the symptom. And then the next one, we take all this information and we solve the problem. Now, I know what you're thinking. They go, Rick, wait a minute. How do I know how to do all this stuff? Number one, freewholesaling.com, we teach you the basics. Number two, your highest skill set when you start out wholesaling is to find and locate these motivated sellers that need to sell. Once you do that, we meet with them. Now, here's the really cool part, is we're going to teach you how to use title companies on your team, how to use realtors for a fixed skill set. We're going to teach you how to use other wholesalers like me and Zach. And then we're also going to teach you how to use lawyers when needed. And here's the best part. This is all 100% free. You don't have to hire these people, because I'm going to show you how to put them on your team. Because if you make money, every one of these people make money with you. Now, I basically explained how we got to this point in wholesaling, why it benefits you, why it benefits the seller. I told you specifically what the highest skill set, which is marketing and locating to these people. So let me show you a graphic representation of how the transaction works and how you actually profit from it from a wholesaler. So right here, you basically have the house. Now, we mostly target single family houses. We do duplexes and stuff like that. We'll just call it single family residential. And we find a seller that needs to sell. We guide them, we listen to the problem, we offer them a solution, we solve the problem. Once we do that, we put the house under what we call contract. Now, it's a simple what we call a PSA contract, purchase and sales agreement, and we put it under contract. Our contracts are simple. Yes, we provide you the contract, freewholesaling.com. This is not complicated. Once we put it under contract, say we put the property under contract for $200,000. Let's say the house is worth $300K, like we used an example. They had a renter in there, it's got problems, and that's it. Now, you have entered in this contract. Now, once you have this contract, you have the ability to assign the rights to the contract and let somebody else step in your place. Why would someone do that? Well, let's go over here. The person that would do that is someone you're going to assign the contract to, and they basically take over your contract. So think about this. They step into your place and your obligations on the contract, and they would pay you a fee for that. Why would they do that? Because they're sick and tired of realtors selling them properties at full price, and they're going to do it because they're going to make money. Now, we have to sell properties that actually make sense to them. So this $200,000 property was $300,000. If you think about this, let's do the math on it. Your contract's for $200,000. We said it's worth $300,000, and it needs $30,000 in repairs. So the real net value of the property is $270,000. So basically, there's a potential for a $70K profit for the cash buyer. Now, you're going to sell this to what we call a cash buyer. This is someone who's experienced in taking over those contracts, and they are going to do it because they can't find any properties cheaper, and it's actually a good deal from them. What's the service we provided as a wholesaler? We went out and marketed. We found a distressed property. Somebody wanted to do a deal with us. We solved the property in exchange, and we got a discount. Now, the cash buyer is going to be induced because he thinks he can make $70,000, but I can't just give him my contract. I'm going to charge him a fee for the service, and he or she's happily going to pay. Now, on this contract, I'm going to add a $20,000 fee on it. Did you hear me? $20,000. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but I do this all the time. Why? He's getting value. So basically, if you minus off the 20, he or she has a potential to make $50,000 taking over this deal. They're experienced, they do rehabs, maybe they're taking over a rental property. So basically, they're going to pay you $220,000 and they take it over. Don't worry, all this flows exactly how you see. On average, this takes place from 10 to 20 days. It goes by very fast. Now, how much money did I put down? We're going to teach you have to put down a modest deposit, anywhere from $100 to $500. Don't worry, I'll show you how to get that money. But remember, we put stuff under contract that needs help, and we want to make sure we close on the property. So we have to align ourselves with cash buyers that understand what we do and understand the value that we provide. And here's the best part is, you just keep doing this entire cycle over and over again. Now, when I started out, I would do from 2 to 3 properties a month. And on average, I made around $15,000 a property. Now, doing the math on that, guys, just to understand this, just say you did 2 properties at $15,000. That's $30,000 a month. 30,000 times 12, that's $360,000. Not bad for a starter job. I'm going to teach you how to do wholesaling without going through the 10 years of education like you were taught with your school system, your teachers, your parents. Guys, you are not going to get ahead in doing this in life. So once again, I just want to walk you through the 4 things we do as wholesalers. So I've already shown you why it's great for you, why it's great for sellers, and this business is never going away. Because when people have problems, they need to seek out wholesalers. So number 1, you're going to locate motivated sellers. This is your highest skill set. And remember what I told you on that? These are people that need to sell. This is your highest skill set as a wholesaler. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Number 2, you are going to learn to connect with these sellers. How do we do that? We connect. How do we connect? We're authentic. I want you to be yourselves, and you're going to earn their trust. How do you do that? You actually help them solve a problem. Number 3, you're going to listen carefully to sellers. It's the only way you can solve a problem. In fact, I'm going to teach you the 80-20 rule. You are the 20%. The less you talk, the more money you make. And finally, number 4, we're going to tie this all in together. You are going to solve the seller's problem. And then basically we are just going to keep repeating this over and over. And guys, you can make simply, easily $30K a month by using this strategy. This is why wholesaling is so attractive. This is why people with little to no money get gravitated. And here's the difference is you actually have to work. You actually have to help people. You have to listen to their problems. You have to learn the flow of real estate. And here's the best part is you don't need to know much about real estate. You have to take action. The real key here, guys, is locating these sellers. In fact, if you just brought me deals of motivated sellers, I'll split it with you 50-50. Go to sellmypaper.com. But you deserve more. I want you to earn it all. Guys, if you want to get started in wholesaling, 2025, you've never had a better time. Guys, it works. It's 100% legal. It is the most proven strategy in all businesses. I will argue this with anyone. And I want you to truly be financially free and most important, get freedom of your time. If you have interest in getting started with us, go over to freewholesaling.com and let me know in the notes if you're going to jumpstart your wholesaling career. Do you want to make a difference in your life? Do you want to leave a legacy for your family, your kids, your wife? Do you truly want to be financially free? I believe wholesaling is the answer. Let me know in the comments you're going to take it. And if you got value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button so others can find the truth out about wholesaling. This is Rick Ginn. I'll see you in the next video.